Hello, I'm Titus Wright, and welcome to The Positive Force. Today we're going to talk about how to read a book, whether it's a textbook or any kind of book you're reading. You've got to know how to read a book, and that's any book you're reading. First, there are 12 things you have to look at when you're about to read a book, whether it's a really thick book, a textbook, or any kind of book. Now, I suggest a novel. Of course, you can just read that as enjoyment. But if you're reading a textbook or a book for information, there should be some type of outline that you go by in reading a book. You have 12 points here. The first one is ask yourself, what is the purpose of me reading this book? Why am I reading this book? Can't be general, it should be more specific. Why am I reading this book? And then you ask yourself, point two is, what do I already know about this topic? You know something about this book. I don't care what it is. It could be the slightest general thing you know about that topic. You ask yourself, because here's the thing. As you're reading a book, you want to be thinking. This is how you avoid falling to sleep, because you engage your mind in thinking as you're reading the book. What am I looking for? Like a treasure hunt. You don't just want to be unengaged and passive in reading a book, because then you'll fall asleep from boredom. You got to activate your mind. So the second point you ask yourself is, what do I already know about this topic? You know something about everything. I'm sure you've heard something about everything, whether it's science, whether it's math, whether it's whatever it is. You know, even cooking takes a stove to cook, takes ingredients or a cookbook. So that's just basic stuff you already know about that topic. Then you ask yourself, what is the big picture here? In other words, what is the whole purpose of me even reading this whole entire book? What am I trying to get out of it? What's the big picture here? Go wide. What is the big picture here? As you read each chapter, each paragraph, ask yourself, what are they trying to say in this paragraph? Because this way you're engaging your mind. Then number 4 would be, try to think ahead and ask yourself, what is the author about to say next? Just try to think about that. The next step would be, what are the expert questions? As you read each paragraph or each chapter, try to find what questions would be able to be asked as a result of reading this paragraph or this chapter. What are some of the expert questions? Form your own questions as you read the book. Don't just read it passively, but ask yourself as you read it, what are the expert questions here? Number 6 is, what other questions can be raised as a result of reading this information, whether it's each chapter or each paragraph. Number 7 would be, what information is important here? Now, everything in a paragraph is not the most important thing. Some of this stuff is fluff, and I realize that when reading a book. Some of this stuff is fluff to fill the pages. Usually, the first 2 sentences in each paragraph in a chapter are the most important aspects. Everything else is more detailed. So I usually read a book, I read each chapter, but I read 2 sentences out of each chapter. And then I read the summaries at the end. And it gives me the whole entire chapter right there. So you ask yourself, number 7 is, what information in this paragraph or in this chapter is really important for me to know? 8 would be, how would I paraphrase this chapter or this paragraph? In my own words, how would I put this information? And then number 9 would be, how would I organize this information? You have to know how this information is organized. Then you ask yourself, okay, how would I mentally picture this information? You have to read in pictures. Now, as you read a book, certain things will stand out for you, not words, but physical pictures. When you can see what you're reading in your mind and hear what you're reading in your mind, you remember what you're reading. So you ask yourself, how would I picture this information? And that can work with math, science, biology, just about any topic. If you can see it in your mind, see what it looks like, and say, how would I picture this information? What would it look like? And you see it visually, and you hear yourself reading it, you won't forget that information. Number 11, what hooks would I use in remembering this information? There are certain things that will trigger memory, and you try to peg that in your mind. What hook would I use in remembering this information? I use that when it comes to different foreign languages. What does that remind me of? You have a hook that will trigger what that reminds you of. Number 12, how does this information fit in with what I already know? How is it going to fit in to what I already know? Let's go through these 12 again. The first one is, what's my purpose of reading this information? Number 2, what do I already know about this topic? Number 3, what is the big picture here? What's the point? Number 4, what is the author about to say next? Try to anticipate what he's about to say next. Engaging in your mind. Number 5, what are the expert questions that will be answered? Number 6, what information would raise other questions? In other words, once you start engaging your mind with that, you're ahead of the game, because you're not just reading, again, passively, you're reading, thinking. Number 7, what information is important here? Again, everything is not important in a chapter and in a paragraph. Number 8, how would I paraphrase this information? In my own words, how would I paraphrase it? Number 9, how would I organize this information? There's an order here. Number 10, how do I see it? How do I picture the information? I should be able to see it. Number 11, what hooks do I have in remembering this information? There are things that trigger your mind. And then number 12, finally, how does this information fit in with what I already know? And those are your 12 points of how to read a book. I'm Titus Wright. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, any comments, don't forget to make them at the bottom. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.